In 2020, I left Hong Kong because the newly implemented national security law, and I'm now wanted a fugitive from the Hong Kong government. I'm Nathan. I'm a Hong Kong activist. I was a student leader in the environment movement in 2014, and I was elected as the youngest ever legislator in Hong Kong at the age of 23 in 2016. But subsequently, I was kicked out, basically, from the council by the Chinese government, and I was jailed subsequently. The national security law is a completely different set of laws or concept of law, and it had not been through any local consultation or legislation process. And it is written in such a fake term that, well, basically they could cook up cases and they could interpret the terms inside it in order to create any legal weapon that they could target political activists in Hong Kong. So on the very first day of its implementation, 1st of July, there were cases that people were just in possession of the flags or stickers that have the protest slogan on. They were arrested. And there were cases that some of the young activist students, they were allegedly related to a Facebook post that encouraged independence, and they were all arrested. The government says that the law targets violent protesters, but in fact, it targets the freedom of expression and freedom of political thought. There is a sense of white terror and politics of fear on the ground because we all don't know how the government will abuse the national security law arbitrarily. I think we've all read the novel from George Orwell, 1984, that was a totalitarian state that full of surveillance. But for now, the surveillance technology is even more mature and all-rounded compared to that era. And they have been abusing that as a tool of suppression. The most vivid example would be in Xinjiang, that they have millions of surveillance camera in the city, and they have facial recognition. They have access to all sorts of your personal information, including how much gas you have spent, how much water you have used, and then to assess your life pattern based on that, and then to complete their all-rounded surveillance on every individuals. So I think that is a scary case, and Hong Kong is not up to that level yet, but we are still very worried that we will follow that path. It's important that we protect our personal information. It's not about whether you can hide things. It's about these information will expose your friends' network, what you like and your preferences, or even sensitive parts of your life. And this can be manipulated by the government. They could create a lot of scandals, pseudo-information, false information in cooperation with their state propaganda. And they could use it to stigmatize you or force you to work for them, or even threatened they will harm your loved ones. So I myself have to take safety measures even though I'm not in Hong Kong. I'm not an expert on cyber security, but I will always use two-step, always use VPN. So I'm actually using Proton VPN and ProtonMail. There are technical stuff, but there are also mentality and a way of getting used to these technologies and new ways of interacting with the internet. The fight for Hong Kong is not only for Hong Kong people, but for democracy and democratic values as a whole. So for me, it's a battle that for democracies and democratic values, we have to preserve them, and we have to act in Hong Kong and to protect this particular place.